Good evening. My name is Butler, and this is my TED Talk. And the title of my talk is I'm Not Dumb, I Just Wasn't Ready. It was December 15, 2015, when Judge Scalise made a very controversial statement. And his statement was, African Americans should consider attending less advanced universities. He said this because he believed that maybe it'd be easier for them to succeed. Some people thought that comment was very outlandish. Some people thought it was ridiculous. But what do you think? Is it possible? You probably saying, man, I think that's crazy. I would never think something like that. But what if I tell you support systems that very much do? What if I tell you there's systems in place that support that type of thinking? Education systems. More specifically, the population is African American males. See, when Judge Scalise made that point, he made me think of a very critical question. He made me think, me being African American males, is it possible that African American males is the problem? Is the problem that they're not ready for college? Or is it possibly a counter narrative there? That colleges are not ready for African American males. I argue this point that that is the case. I argue the case that, I argue the point that the problem is love is missing. Love is missing at predominantly white institutions. Not the fact that they don't love these students, but the fact that they don't know how to go about loving them. As an educator, do you believe that's the case? You probably think like, Rob, what does that mean? What does that mean to me? I had a buddy who told me a very critical story. He's a pastor. And he said, Rob, he said, man, he said, let me tell you this story. He said, man, one day I had very good intentions. He said, it was 2 years ago, it was Thanksgiving. He said, I decided to go out to this inner city. I knew I wasn't really doing that well. I knew there was a lot of poor families. So my church decided to bring them turkeys for Thanksgiving. And we was high-fiving each other. We was proud. We was celebrating. And we was like, man, we just did something good. Praise God. Now, I got a phone call 2 days later. And there was a woman who said, Pastor, I really appreciate what you have done for our family. But the problem is, Pastor, is we haven't paid our gas bill in 2 years because we can't afford to do so. So the turkey balls are still sitting in the fridge, cold, and we still haven't eaten. The pastor and his crew, they were devastated. And they said, okay, next year what we're going to do is we're going to bring the families warm meals that's already cooked. With my buddy his intentions were good, but the actions were harmful. And I think about my own story. I think about the fact when I stepped on the college campus, I had 1.6 GPA. I had 14 on the ACT. The last thing I needed to hear was I was not college ready. Because what they told me is I was not smart enough to be on the college campus. But what it did tell me was I was smart enough to graduate high school. But I was still being reminded I don't belong here. I did not feel included. I did not feel invited. And so I had to ask myself, as a student there, did they want me here? Or did I have to be reminded by faculty or professors think I'm only here because I'm an athlete or because of affirmative action? I think institutions they have very good intentions, but sometimes the actions can be harmful. If you look at the statistics, African American males, we have the highest retention rates. The lowest retention rates, lowest graduation rates, and we are the least likely to succeed. I don't think love is the problem. I don't think we don't love them. I think the problem is we don't know how to love them. But just imagine if we did. What would that look like on the macro level? There would be no need for a diversity office. There would be no need for little pockets here of black initiatives. Or there would be no need of how can we make this campus climate more diverse? Because there already would be so. And if you look on the micro level, you would look at how teachers look and they see a student in class and they say, man, that student's angry. How do I engage him? How do I help him? Because the truth is, many of these students don't know how to ask for help. I remember being confused, angry, frustrated, because I didn't know what questions to ask. I didn't know who to ask. But there was one teacher that took time to say, man, I see something you don't see in yourself. Imagine if our college campuses had that. I was a student that entered college with 1.6 GPA, a 14 on the ACT. Somehow I ended up with a 3.5 GPA. Imagine if we had more campuses, predominantly white institutions that embraced that. But I think it's possible that we could. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at the study of a historic black college, they do that very much so. Compared to white institutions, their statistics prove that they graduate students at higher, their retention rates are higher, graduation rates are higher, and they invest more into their students. So what's the difference? The difference is love. Students express at these campuses that they just feel appreciated, that they're wanted there. And this is on the micro level to the macro level. See, I have this saying that says, wherever your treasure is, your heart will be also. Starbucks, they are one of my favorite brands because they promote this very much so. They're criticized because they invest more money into training their employees than they do advertising. Imagine if we did that. Imagine if we invest more money into training faculty members on diversity and inclusion, or invested more time into the students that attend our universities. Instead of saying, man, this student needs to meet the standard, let's say, hey, let's walk you through this to the standard. See, when I think about my story, I think about Judge Scalise. I think about Judge Scalise. I think about the fact that he see me as a liability. But I would prefer that schools start to see me as an asset. I want to challenge you to embrace my story because it's your story. And altogether it becomes our story. And if we work together, we can make this a reality. I thank you for your time, and y'all have a good night. Thank you.